Seaman Third Class, United States Navy. My father, World War II. My father went into the Navy when he was only 17 years of age in 1944, and he didn't graduate from high school, but he would go on to do amazing things and raise his 6 children. But he believed, as many did at that time, it was more important to serve your country than it was to be back here doing what most teenagers do. And just a moment ago, you saw my grandfather, Emmerich Bango's grave. He was a Marine during World War I. So I have really been on the shoulders of giants for many decades. My father would often talk about his time being overseas and how much he always wanted to go back to the sea. He always talked about, when I retire, I'm going to go back to the sea. He never had that chance, but in the 2 years that he served in the United States Navy, it molded him and shaped him, to the point where days before his death in the summer of 2000, one of the things that he was most concerned about at this mausoleum at St. Cecilia Cemetery was to make sure that his rank would be on his crypt. And it is, and it will always be there for his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and many generations who revisit this place, Rochester, and remember his legacy, as we all should, members of the military, this Memorial Day. So I urge you, as I did as a kid, take your children to a cemetery and do a little weeding and a little reflecting, and take time to thank those. And especially, like my father, the greatest generation, where there are just a few left. And as far as World War I and my grandfather, there are none left. So it is more important than ever that you educate your children. The Coral Sea, May of 1942 is when it started, and it lasted just a few short days. But it was a significant victory for our United States Navy and Admiral Nimitz. Why? Because it prevented the Japanese from cutting off Australia to its allies. It also was our first major victory at sea, and it would eventually pave a way for us to have victory in Japan.